9, 8, 7, power, 6, 5, power, 4, power, 3, 2, one more. Good, keep the head. Roll under the bed.
Slide over here. Slide over here. You drop on the shots like this. You go here. Here. Here.
If I get him where I need him to be, he's gonna sleep for sure. Soften him up, then fry him.
In a surprising turn of events, Floyd Mayweather has reportedly reunited with Gervonta "Tank" Davis for an intense training session ahead of the much-anticipated showdown with Jake Paul. Despite the tension and distance that once existed between them, the former champion appears fully focused on one thing, helping Tank sharpen every weapon before fight night. For years, their relationship has swung between mentorship and rivalry, pride and misunderstanding. But when the stakes rise, old rivalries fade, and mutual respect takes the lead. Those who witness the session describe it as high energy and precise, with Mayweather pushing Davis to the edge, demanding perfection, reminding him what greatness requires. It's a powerful image, the student and the master side by side once again, united by the pursuit of victory. Because when legacy is on the line, even the past can step aside for the present moment.
Know that this is no easy fight. He's very skilled, and I'm gonna go on the line and say this may be the most skillful person that Tank has faced thus far.
I just don't want to look bad come fight night. My biggest fear has been embarrassed, especially in front of like all these people, like worldwide. Then you be like, come this mean for that, like, you know? Like, I ain't got time for that. I'm not trying to go out getting my butt kicked.
Many fans believe that Mayweather's return to Tank's corner adds something priceless: experience. When it comes to preparing for an unpredictable opponent like Jake Paul, few minds in boxing history offer sharper insight than Floyd's. His presence alone changes the atmosphere in the gym, the energy, the focus, the discipline. Their reunion has sent waves of excitement through the boxing world, sparking endless conversations and speculation. Some say this is proof that the fight is far more serious than people initially thought. What many dismissed as entertainment is now starting to look like a genuine test, one that both camps are treating with absolute focus. With Mayweather's wisdom in Tank's corner, fans are beginning to realize this isn't just another fight. It's a statement, a moment where legacy, pride, and preparation all collide under the brightest lights.
People just want things right now. They want to see nothing but excitement. They want to be entertained. They don't want to pay a lot of money to come to a fight to watch two guys just jab, 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 grab.
Gervonta "Tank" Davis has built his legacy on one defining trait: pushing his limits every single time he steps into training camp. And this time is no different. As the clash with Jake Paul draws near, new footage and insider reports reveal a fighter operating at maximum intensity, blending speed, precision, and explosive power with near-perfect balance. Coaches describe him as sharper than ever. Every movement has purpose. Every punch carries intent. He trains with urgency but never loses control, his focus locked in, his rhythm flawless. Observers say his footwork looks faster, lighter, almost effortless, gliding across the ring like a man who already sees every move before it happens. Tank's team understands the magnitude of this fight. There's no room for hesitation, no tolerance for mistakes. Whether he's drilling angles, reaction timing, or defensive movement, the tempo stays relentless, a clear reflection of how seriously he takes the threat Jake Paul presents. Through it all, Tank's mentality hasn't changed. Stay ready, stay hungry, stay dangerous. That's more than a motto. It's the mindset that's carried him from the streets of Baltimore to the top of the boxing world. Leonard Ellerby has no doubts about Gervonta "Tank" Davis's star power. In his eyes, no fighter in today's game delivers pure entertainment quite like Tank. Fans don't just buy tickets to see him win, they buy tickets to feel something. Because when Tank steps through those ropes, he's not there to survive. He's there to electrify. Ellerby makes it clear, people don't show up for a glorified sparring session. They come for the suspense, the danger, the explosive finishes that Tank has turned into his trademark. His knockouts are more than punches. They're moments that echo across arenas, live forever in highlight reels, and spark endless debates online. Tank understands the balance between showmanship and responsibility. He knows fans expect a spectacle, drama, emotion, and a finish worth remembering. And every time he delivers exactly that. This matchup with Jake Paul, despite the controversy surrounding it, is another chance for Tank to remind the world why he's not just a champion. He's the most thrilling fighter of his era.
They just want things right now. They want to see nothing but excitement. They want to be entertained. They don't want to pay a lot of money to come to a fight to watch two guys just jab, 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 grab, jab, grab. Again, that's why Tank Davis is the most exciting fighter in the entire world, because he gives the fans exactly what they want.
And speaking of familiarity, you mentioned that earlier. This is somewhat of a familiar foe in Oscar De La Hoya via Ryan Garcia, Floyd Mayweather, Tank Davis. There's some old connotations there. How much is Mayweather Promotions and PBC looking to deal a blow to the Golden Boy brand by knocking out their stalwart in Ryan Garcia?
Oh, that's happening. That's happening. And then again, it's always good. You know, it's great. It'll be great for Tank.
Paulie Malignaggi believes boxing must protect its soul. To him, the upcoming clash between Gervonta Tank Davis and Jake Paul represents more than just a fight. It represents a crossroads for the sport itself. From Malignaggi's perspective, this matchup feels less like a contest of skill and more like a spectacle built for views. He worries that a sport rooted in legacy, grit, and fair competition is slowly turning into something scripted. An industry where fame overshadows craftsmanship and headlines matter more than heart. Malignaggi argues that victories only carry weight when they're earned against true equals. Without that balance, even the most dramatic knockout begins to feel hollow. Exciting to casual viewers, perhaps, but frustrating for the purists who fell in love with the art of the sport. In conversations with fellow analyst Chris Algieri, Malignaggi emphasized that mismatches do more harm than good. He warns that every spectacle fight chips away at boxing's foundation, a foundation built by warriors who fought their way through the ranks, not around them. His message is clear. If boxing is to endure, it must refocus on elite-level matchups, the kind that test greatness, not just marketability.
Knockouts, dude. Knockouts. People like knockouts. They don't care if you're knocking out cab drivers. Look at Jake Paul's career.
You can manufacture that, though. You can manufacture that, though. You can manufacture
knockouts. You can't manufacture.
To a degree, you can. To a degree. I mean, you can't. Yeah, Gervonta legitimately cannot get knockouts. I agree. He can punch, but there's a lot of limited knockout artists, though, man.
He's one of the least active punchers in the game with the highest knockout percentage of current heavyweight.
But if he was a real knockout artist, if he was a real knockout artist, prop him up against the best of the best. Felix Trinidad was a knockout artist. He was knocking out the best of the best. If you're a real knockout artist, prop him up against the best and show us how he smokes them. But the way we did when Felix Trinidad was doing it. You know, the way they did when Mike Tyson was doing it in his prime. Okay, say what you want about the Mike Tyson era. He knocked out everyone from 1986 to 1989. Everyone got knocked out. Everyone.
Well, by your standard, you could say that Tyson was, to a degree, manufactured.
No, because he fought everyone that was there. Everyone that was there at that time fought.
Teddy Ellis will 100% agree with this.
With the expense of Witherspoon.
That we're afraid of him.
With the exception of Witherspoon. No, but they all, doesn't matter. He knocked them all out. There was nobody you could say in that era except maybe Witherspoon, who had contract issues with King at the time. Except for Witherspoon, there is nobody Tyson didn't fight in that era. He knocked them all out. You can't say like, oh, but if he would have fought that guy, I don't know. No, with Davis, there's guys right now that have been hanging around for years. Yo, dude, when are you going to fight them? The lightweight division was stacked with talent. Even at 130, it had a lot of talent when he was there. Didn't fight almost any of them. So it's not the same thing as the Tyson era. You want to say anything about Tyson era? Fine. It wasn't as high level or something. He still knocked out everyone. There was nobody there in that era that you can say Tyson didn't fight.
Didn't say it was related. It was the same as the Tyson era. Didn't say it at all. I was actually going to say the opposite when you talk about Trinidad.
Floyd Mayweather's influence in boxing remains untouched, even in retirement. The mere rumors surrounding his next move speak louder than most fighters' actual careers. Analysts suggest that Mayweather's reported interest in facing Mike Tyson isn't about money, fame, or nostalgia alone. It's about refusing to fade into silence. Even after hanging up the gloves, Floyd continues to thrive on competition and attention. He's always calculating, always positioning himself for the next moment that reminds the world he's still in control of the narrative. At this stage, it's not simply financial, it's about legacy management, about making sure that every conversation about boxing greatness still circles back to his name. Some believe that sharing headlines with Tank Davis and Jake Paul may have reignited that old spark, the same drive that built his empire in the first place. Whether this rumored Tyson bout ever becomes reality or not, one truth remains. Floyd Mayweather doesn't chase the spotlight, he commands it.
Many celebrities and so many people that are known where you can get somebody and they can sell tickets to events. That's what kicked off the social media influence boxing that Jake Paul was birthed from. Now we're in a vacuum. And so there's going to be a lot of conversation about that and continuing to do that. In this particular video, though, I want to get into the mind of Floyd Mayweather Jr. and why Floyd Mayweather Jr. would do this. There is the money, but there's also the competitive nature of Floyd Mayweather Jr. and him not wanting to have other people think that they're a bigger star than he is. Floyd Mayweather Jr. has not been able to really launch his star outside of the sport of boxing, so he continues to do exhibitions. Now, what I think is that Floyd Mayweather Jr. is announced it at this point in time with Mike Tyson in order to take advantage of the publicity heading into the Gervonta Davis, Jake Paul fight, which is, I do believe, set for November. So now that they have all the publicity and all that stuff coming out from that, he's going to piggyback on it and then try to have it in the beginning of next year sometime and actually make it a bigger event than Gervonta versus Jake Paul. And it probably will be. And the reason that I say that is because of Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson is bigger than Floyd. Let me say Mike Tyson. I think Mike Tyson's bigger than Floyd Mayweather. I still think his name is bigger than Floyd Mayweather, even though I know Floyd has made more money in the pay-per-views. And I think that had a lot to do with, again, social media area and otherwise. But the combination of Floyd Mayweather Jr. and Mike Tyson and the question about what is going to happen in that fight.
Eddie Hearn has always balanced business with respect for the sport. And on this topic, he's clear. While entertainment is undeniably part of boxing, it should never become the foundation of matchmaking. Hearn warns that if social media fame begins to dictate who gets world-class fights, boxing risks losing the very credibility it was built on. To him, Tank versus Jake Paul is a crossover event, exciting, marketable, and undeniably profitable. But from a purist's standpoint, it raises important questions about where the line between sport and spectacle truly lies. It's fun for fans and great for networks, but for boxing's competitive integrity, it's a dangerous precedent. Hearn emphasizes that legitimacy must always come first. If the sport continues to blur boundaries based on hype instead of rankings, future generations might grow up believing that celebrity matchups define championship-level boxing. His message is firm, and his tone leaves no room for misunderstanding. Boxing must remain boxing. Not a storyline driven by viral moments, but a sport defined by discipline, rivalry, and respect for the craft.
To a global business with investment and potential floats, and it's been a great challenge.
Away from that, obviously the DAZN deal is up next year. Are those talks underway to extend, or are you looking elsewhere? What can you tell me?
Yeah, no, they are. I mean, we're very happy with DAZN. I think what they've enabled us to do is to really have the global ambition and global strategy that I wanted, and that was really a big part of my mindset moving forward in boxing. We know there's a lot of other platforms out there that might have had broadcast deals end, that would be looking to replace those people, and we are very well respected in the space. I don't think it would be difficult for us to walk into another broadcast deal, but we're very happy with DAZN as partners. And as I said, the strategic element of that, I mean, when we talk about, the power list and stuff like that, we have international deals with DAZN in multiple markets, and obviously particularly the US market, which makes us unique as a business. And I actually believe that DAZN are in a fantastic place, particularly in the US market right now. And yeah, we are in deep talks to extend that relationship, and we're very happy with our broadcast partner.
Eddie, just whilst I've got you, obviously, just a few things I'd like an update on. We last time we spoke, Anthony Joshua, Jake Paul seemed to be the front runner for you guys. Now we're getting Jake Paul and Gervonta Davis. What can you tell me about that? What can you tell me about why Jake and Anthony has maybe been put to the side for now?
Yeah, they always told us that it was, we were looking at that fight for February of next year, and they always said that there was a chance that Jake would fight in November. I think, wasn't I the one that broke Jake Paul against Gervonta Davis 6 months ago or something? I know that I knew that they'd agree that deal. I didn't know they were about to announce it then, but I did know that they'd agreed that deal previously. So I don't like it, if I'm honest. I mean, I think we need to really differentiate between boxing and an entertainment concept, and that's what that is. It's a freak show. It's entertainment. It's a lightweight fighting a cruiserweight. With, I don't know, is it bigger gloves and certain minutes per round? I don't know what it is, but I understand the market, and I understand this freak show shock kind of the world mentality of people potentially tuning in. Is that a step too far? Maybe. I mean, I hated Jake Paul against Mike Tyson, but it did massive numbers. I hate Jake Paul against Gervonta Davis. It'll probably do massive numbers. So that's when you really have to differentiate yourself between, just because you don't like it doesn't mean it isn't going to do good business. Now, whether you want to be involved with it is another kettle of fish. I don't want to be involved with it, but I do respect the fact that it's going to do big numbers. It's just not boxing. And I don't think we should promote it as boxing.
In the meantime, then, Eddie, where does that leave you with Anthony Joshua? Are you exploring other options for the end of this year, or are you still looking at that fight for the beginning?
Yeah, no, we're not interested in the Jake Paul fight right now after that. I mean,
The Wade Concept host breaks down the psychological chess game behind Jake Paul's every move. Jake isn't just a fighter. He's a strategist, one who understands the business and the art of provocation better than most veterans in the sport. He knows exactly how to draw big names toward his orbit, not through rankings, but through relevance and reward. By flaunting luxury lifestyles, showcasing massive paydays, and guaranteeing exposure that even top-tier fighters can't ignore, Jake has mastered the formula of turning criticism into currency. For Gervonta Tank Davis, a fighter who thrives on silencing doubters, Jake's taunts and confident boasts became the perfect bait, a challenge too tempting to resist. Jake's strategy works because it's built on more than just skill. It's built on psychology. He flips negativity into opportunity, controversy into business, and every viral moment into momentum. With each headline, each face-off, each bold statement, he reinforces his image as a disruptor, someone capable of pulling elite fighters into his world on his terms. In this fight, the punches will matter, but so will the mind games. Because in Jake Paul's playbook, the psychological battle starts long before the first bell ever rings.
But also, and again, Jake's only been boxing for 5, 6, 7 years now. It isn't necessarily far-fetched to try to have his own advantages when trying to fight other boxers that have been far more experienced than him. But this one's a little too much, right? This one is crazy because of the massive weight difference. It doesn't make a ton of sense. But again, as far as a sport fight is concerned, I want to make sure I make that clear. Again, this is not me hating on it, because I do think that both guys have been very upfront with what they're doing in this fight and what their goals are with these kind of events. But the narrative Jake's trying to create as if this is like proving anything for him fighting a real fighter when Gervonta is so much smaller than he is. It'll prove something in the fact that Jake is willing to put on great events, but it won't prove anything to the people that are asking him to fight a real fighter. I will say though, if Jake goes out and flatlines Gervonta, the casual audience that will say Gervonta smokes Jake completely and utterly, like it wouldn't even be close, that will change their minds a little bit. Not the people that know boxing, But the people that are going to watch this, the casual viewer that know the name Gervonta Davis and know the name Jake Paul, if he is to compete with Gervonta at all or look good in that fight, people will in some way accept that. Or they'll do the other thing where they just say the fight's rigged, which has never been the case, but you get what I'm saying. What Jake is doing is trying to convince a casual audience that he belongs in the ring with bigger names. If he's able to hurt Gervonta at all, that might actually do it.
The undefeated lightweight champion of the world. With a record of 30-0, 28 knockouts. And this one is over! He's been boxing since he was 5 years old and turned pro when he was 18.
The Wade Concept host breaks down the psychological chess match behind Jake Paul's every move. Jake isn't just a fighter. He's a strategist. One who understands the business and the art of provocation better than most veterans who've spent decades in the game. He knows how to pull big names into his orbit, not through rankings, but through relevance and reward. By flaunting luxury lifestyles, promising record-breaking paydays, and guaranteeing exposure that even champions can't ignore, Jake has perfected the formula of turning criticism into currency. For Gervonta "Tank" Davis, a fighter who thrives on silencing doubters, Jake's bold words and constant taunts became the perfect bait, a challenge too enticing to walk away from. Jake's playbook isn't built solely on skill. It's built on psychology. He transforms negativity into opportunity, controversy into business, and every viral moment into unstoppable momentum. Each headline, each stare down, each calculated statement strengthens his image as a disruptor, a man capable of pulling elite fighters into his world, on his terms. When fight night arrives, the punches will matter, but so will the mind games. Because in Jake Paul's world, the fight doesn't begin with the bell. It begins the moment he opens his mouth.
You guys told me that Gervonta "Tank" Davis is just taking this fight for a payday. He's just trying to get to the bag. Well, you got the fight itself, which is a payday, and you got a KO bonus on top of that, a big bonus. That's what Jake Paul said.
They're going to get a big bonus.
And they got a side bet of $2 million. Let's make it 2.
Y'all gonna shake on it? Yeah. Shake on it?
Shake $1 million.
$2 mil? 2 mil? 2 mil. Let's do 2 mil. Go get a shake.
Oh, they're shaking left here.
2 mil.
There we go. Oh, my fuck. Why not get the entire bag?
Analysts paint a harsh reality for Jake Paul's chances. Facing Gervonta. Tank Davis isn't like fighting anyone he's met before. It's stepping into the ring with a man who seems to see punches before they happen. Tank has developed what many describe as a sixth sense inside the ropes. He reads reactions, anticipates mistakes, and punishes openings with terrifying precision and speed. Jake Paul's power is real. No one denies that. But landing something meaningful against a fighter with Tank's reflexes is an entirely different world. Experts warn that once Tank closes the distance and finds his rhythm, Jake will encounter a level of force, timing, and accuracy that no sparring session could ever prepare him for. Jake's confidence is bold, maybe even fearless. But confidence alone doesn't close the gap between influence and experience, because when Tank connects cleanly, the fight could end in a heartbeat. One perfectly placed punch could serve as a brutal reminder of the massive divide between influencer boxing and elite-level skill.
Tank Davis look crazy, bro. Chilaquiles. Gervonta "Tank" Davis hitting a heavy bag in preparation for his Jake Paul fight November 14 down there in Florida. Man looks absolutely amazing. Man looks like a monster. Man looks like precision. Jake Paul cannot take those body shots. You mean to tell me somebody who done fought UFC fighters and a man with Parkinson's disease can take a body punch from Gervonta "Tank" Davis, and y'all basing y'all logic just because Jake Paul is big? No, Tank's gonna go ahead and put this man to sleep. I'm telling y'all that right now. If Tank don't put this man to sleep, he done let the black community down, he done let boxing down, and he ain't never been that nice. You Tank fans, y'all trying to give him a pass. If y'all said Tank is as skilled as y'all say he is, if he does not put Jake Paul to sleep and stop Jake Paul, his boxing career is absolutely voided. He already don't care about legacy, and just imagine he don't knock out Jake Paul, and now y'all want to say it's not a real fight, it's an exhibition. No, we not giving no passes, bro. This Gervonta Tank Davis. He needs to put Jake Paul to sleep. I don't want to hear nothing about, Jake Paul too big. No, Jake Paul chin ain't never been tested by somebody that hit as hard as Gervonta Tank Davis. Tank should put this man to sleep with ease. I'll say that respectfully. If you don't put him to sleep,
a 2-pack of ass. That shit stinks.
That's a 2-pack of ass at the highest level. And it's a musty energy at the highest level. Get it together. Get it together. Tank looks amazing. That's the Chilla Killers.
Chilla Killers. Chilla Killers.
Bernie Thaw Boxer doesn't hold back when it comes to this matchup. He laughs at fans who celebrate Gervonta Tank Davis simply for cashing in another massive payday, saying they're missing the entire point. Tank is already a millionaire many times over, so to Bernie the story isn't about the money anymore. What truly matters, he argues, is competition, the kind that keeps fans on the edge of their seats, heart pounding with every exchange. Bernie believes that boxing's soul lives in drama, danger, and unpredictability, in fights where either man could win and both must risk everything to prove it. People don't buy tickets to read about bank accounts. They show up to witness greatness, to feel those moments that live forever in highlight reels and history books. For Bernie, that's what boxing was built on, not the size of a paycheck, but the size of a challenge. His message cuts straight through the noise. Boxing should never prioritize bank accounts over breathtaking battles. Because in the end, it's not the money that defines legends. It's the moments that take our breath away.
With Tank, and it's I kind of don't really care about the fight no more. Starting to lose a little steam.
But I'm saying, I mean, if he stops Pitbull Cruz, right? I mean, don't you think that people would want to see, Lamont and Tank more due to the fact that, Tank had a hard time with Pitbull?
No, I think people just want to see Tank versus Lamont because Lamont, he had a hard time with Lamont. It's just like Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia. People just like controversy. People just like, you know what I'm saying? So people like to see finished business. They don't want to leave it unfinished. And that's what the intrigue is. They want people want to see finished business. So, you know what I'm saying? I think that's the intrigue of the fight. And it doesn't make no sense why they taking so fucking for a fight. Everybody keeps saying that, Tank getting the money, but is we getting the fucking money?
So what do you think? Does Floyd Mayweather's mentorship give Gervonta Tank Davis the ultimate edge in this matchup? Or is Jake Paul's strategy once again being underestimated by the boxing world? Drop your thoughts in the comments below and let the debate begin. Because in a fight fueled by power, pride, and psychology, every opinion counts.